Hi everybody, welcome back to Jackie's channel about nothing. Something did happen though. I finally got a job offer. Yay! So I'm going to be starting around the end of February. Now there's, the background checks and all the fun stuff that has to be done before you start. So that's exciting. But today what we're going to do, are nothing for this episode, I guess, is making Super Bowl food. So while as a Buffalo Bills fan, I am pretty disgruntled, not too thrilled. It is the Super Bowl and it's definitely celebrated across the country. So I figured I'd just put together a couple recipes. I didn't put together the recipes. These are recipes that I've used in the past and that I'll share with you. Very simple, not many ingredients. So hopefully they can help you out with your snack needs. So right now what I'm going to do is called Crockpot Kielbasa, or slow cooker apple kielbasa bites, from the actual recipe. And I'll put the links to like the actual recipes in the description, or to at least give them credit, because I didn't make this up myself. So what you'll need for this, I used one's already in here. So 2 packages of Polska kielbasa. Use whatever sausage you like, but this is the good stuff. You're going to want to use unsweetened applesauce, 1 cup. You can use 3 garlic cloves or 1.5 teaspoons of minced garlic. 1 clove of fresh garlic is a 1/2 teaspoon of minced. But use 3 of those. And then a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I use the light brown sugar. I really don't know the difference between the light and the dark brown sugar as far as taste goes. But light is what I have on hand, so that's what we're using. So we're just gonna cut this up, dump it in the crock pot, turn it on low for, 6 to 8 hours. It's just to let all the flavors melt in. The longer the better. That's what it is. So there we go. If you don't have 8 hours, turn it on high for 4 to 6, and there you go. So there we go. So just open up your package here. You're going to cut this up into maybe, like 1-inch pieces. I use like the tip of my thumb to my first knuckle here. I think that's like 1 inch. Bite size. In the background here, I have my my road trip radio from Sirius XM. So no, I do not own the rights to any of these songs. YouTube tells me I have to say that apparently. So they do copyright checks, which I get. Some people do try to claim this music for themselves, which is sad, but I do not own those rights. So it really is this simple. You're just cutting off the sausage or the kielbasa and throwing it in the crock pot. That's it. Okay. Then what you're going to do is dump everything in here. So I have my 1 cup of unsweetened applesauce. Not the same, I don't think, as no sugar added applesauce. It has to be actual unsweetened on the label. Just dump that in there. Okay. You're going to take a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. Now this is not an exact science, just whatever you got on the spoon is good. Just pack it in there a little bit, level it, and dump it. And then, last but not least, we have our garlic. I have fresh garlic, but I just use the minced stuff. It's easier. And since it's already cut up, why not, right? So again, you don't have to worry about like leveling it or whatever. If you want to add more, add more. If you don't want to add it at all, don't. Although you do lose something if you don't add it. But if there's like a garlic allergy or something, don't add it. Speaking of which, the recipe does say you could add a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. If you like to spice it up a little bit, by all means, add the red pepper flakes. I don't have them. I don't use them. I'm not going to buy them. So But if you have them, just add it in there. And then just mix it all together. I mix with my hands. You can use a spoon, of course, but I think, you just kind of get your fingers underneath the sausage. You can mix it in better than a spoon could. And really all the flavors are going to melt in anyway, so you don't have to there's no real science to it. Kind of schmaltz it all up. I'm using a small size Crockpot bag. Reynolds makes them, but I think they have the generic brand too. I don't remember where I saw it. I don't know if it was Target or Walmart. But they do work. They work beautifully. Everything still cooks just fine. It doesn't melt to the pot. Although I've seen some people talk about that if they leave it in their crock pot for 12 hours. I've never cooked anything for 12 hours, so that I wouldn't recommend, but for your typical 6 to 8, maybe 9 hours in a crock pot, you should be good with the bag. That's it. So there we go, your Crockpot Kielbasa. You turn it on to low after you plug it in, and then let it cook. This will last for a couple days. You could freeze it. It freezes really, really well. Portion it off, freeze it, in little saran wrap, whatever's. And then, just reheat and eat. So there we go, Crockpot Kielbasa. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do are our deviled eggs. Very simple. It would help if I had the eggs. All right. So large eggs, you can use extra large as well, or whatever size. A cup of water. Now the water is I'm using my my pressure cooker to cook the hard-boiled eggs, but whatever you use to cook your hard-boiled eggs, you need that. Mayo. I use Dijon mustard. You can use regular, but I think Dijon just has a better flavor to it. And then just regular table salt. So to make your hard-boiled eggs, if you're going to boil them in a pot, I recommend adding a tablespoon of baking soda if you have it. It'll just help peel it better. And it also helps to take the eggs, when they're done boiling, put them directly into a nice big ice bath, which I'll show you in a bit. Okay, so first things first, if you're going to cook them in the pressure cooker, it's 5 minutes on high or whatever, or regular, and then let it naturally release for 5 minutes. That means you don't move this little thing over here. To let the pressure off, you leave that in its natural state. So it doesn't matter how many eggs, it's all the same amount of time, it's the same amount of water, 1 cup of water into the pot. That's it. And then just put your eggs in there. It could be 4 eggs, it could be a dozen eggs. It's still 1 cup of water. It's still cooking at 5 minutes and then natural release at 5 minutes. If you're using extra large eggs, I would recommend cooking at 6 minutes and then natural release for 5. That should be enough. Okay. Put the cover on. There's nothing wrong with it. This is why it takes me an hour to make deviled eggs. Ah. Aha! Last time I had a problem with the lid, it's because this little rubber thing came off. So I just gotta put that back. For real? Ah, got it! Alright. Set the little Doomaflage thing to sealing. Not sealing. S-E-A-L-I-N-G, sealing. And then if you have an egg button, push egg and it'll say 5 on there. That works. Or if you do manual, just hit your plus button or whatever to set it at 5 minutes for large eggs and 6 minutes at, for extra large eggs. I bought this ice maker, I don't know, about last year I think it was. It's the coolest little machine thing. Do I need it? Probably not, but it's fun. So I made a whole lot of ice, and I just keep it in the right freezer for when I need ice. There you go. Lots of ice. And then fill your bowl of water, cold water, of course. I think we just keep it in the ice water for about 5 minutes. I'm working off memory. I don't have this written down anywhere. It's been a while since I made them, so I don't remember what I did. But I'm pretty sure it's like 5 minutes for everything. 5 minutes to cook in the Instapot. 6 for extra large eggs. 5 minutes natural release, and then 5 minutes in the ice bath, and then ready to peel. Nice and simple. Okay, so the countdown low timer here says it's 5 minutes on natural release. So now we're going to move this little peg thing to the venting setting. We're going to let the rest of the pressure release, and then we're going to take these eggs out of here and put them into our ice bath for 5 minutes. Don't put your face in there. Riveting. Okay. Then we're going to take our lid off. Ooh! One of them cracked already. All right. It happens. It happens. Just gotta cool it off anyway. I always make a couple more eggs than I'm gonna need, just because you never know if it's gonna crack like that already, or if you're gonna have a hard time peeling one of them, and then the outside gets all like crappy and stuff. So if you want your eggs to look pretty, I always make a couple more and then to have extras, or if I just simply eat it. I'll eat the deformed ones. That's okay. Oh, one more. Okay, so our eggs are done cooling. I probably had it in the ice bath closer to 7 minutes than just the 5. No harm. So now you're just going to crack your egg. And see how nicely this peels off. I like, if you have a pressure cooker, or like, I guess it doesn't have to be an Instapot, just anything. I highly recommend it. It's very simple. Like, just pops right off. Now, I use a fillet knife to cut through the egg. I guess you could use any knife. I'm sure there's a professional chef out there that'll tell you that that's wrong. There's a specific egg knife you should use. But I guess you're just looking for like a straight cut, because since people are going to be seeing this part of the egg, it's going to be used for your display. You just kind of want it to look nice. And then you just pop the yolk out of there. There you go. Be a little gentle. Try not to rip the egg white. You just pull back a little bit and then pop it out. There you go. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean on the inside because you're going to be filling this anyway. This is the one that broke earlier. You may still be able to salvage this. There you go. Pops right off. And then what I do is after I'm done cutting one egg, I, wipe the blade clean because the yolk kind of sticks to it. You just wipe that off. And that just makes it for a better clean cut for the next egg. Oh. There we go. Okay. And I'll do one more. I'm not going to peel all of them. I'll save some of the hard-boiled eggs for breakfast, or actually make them for the Superbowl because it's not for a couple days yet. So I'll just do these 3. And I did a practice one before I hit record. There we go. cut through that. There we go. Pop this out. Oh, that came out nice and easy. Pop that out. Aw, the bottom ripped a little bit. That's okay. That'll be our test one that we eat. So there we go. Now, as far as measurements go, it really all depends on your personal taste. The only thing I can really suggest is to be very careful with your salt. A little salt goes a very long way. So just add a really little bit at a time. I forgot my fork. So take your yolks, and then you're just going to kind of fluff it with or break the pieces apart with a fork. Just make it into smaller chunks. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're just breaking up the bigger egg yolks. Hi, Bonnie. Oh, Bonnie smells eggs. She smells eggs. There you go. It just kind of looks like little crumbs like this. There you go. And then add your mayo. Just, I guess it's to the desired consistency. I know, like, I hate when recipes say that, to desired consistency. I'm like, what does that mean? But really, it just kind of squeeze as you go, or add as you go. To me, the desired consistency is just pasty, and not so crumbly. So yeah, like clearly this to me is still too crumbly yet. So I'm going to add a little more mayo. And again, a little mayo goes a long way as well. So no shame in just adding a little bit at a time. Just keep mixing it up. I think for a dozen eggs, it turned out to be close to like a half cup of mayo. So start off with that. And then, or around that amount, if you're going to do the full dozen eggs. And then, you know, go from there. That's good. I'm going to add the Dijon mustard. Just a real little squirt of this. You don't need as much because this taste goes really far. So right now I'm adding, that's probably like a half, between a half and a quarter teaspoon. And just mix that in there. Now we're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. I'll probably start off with, let's see. I got about a little more than, I got about a half teaspoon in here. So I'm just going to take a little bit and throw it on there. I would say that was no more than 1/8 of a teaspoon. But again, this is just for 4 eggs. Mix that in there really good. I still think it's a little stiff actually. As I'm mixing it, it still seems a little stiff. So I'm gonna add just a bit more mayo. There we go. What you also want to make sure that it's, I don't think fluid is the word. You don't want it to be an actual fluid, but just smooth enough so that it can go through a pastry bag or a Ziploc bag. If you're not going to scoop it, you know, using a spoon, you could squeeze it through a bag, but it has to be smooth enough for it to get, or soft enough to get through the bag. There you go. So you just take a little bit. Needs more mustard. Yeah, that didn't taste right. But that's why you taste as you go, because you can always add. It's very difficult to remove. If it tastes bland to you, or if you think you're just not tasting enough of whatever, you can't really place it, add a little more salt. Because sometimes the problem isn't adding more mustard or mayo, it's just adding a little bit more salt to enhance the flavors that are already in there. But I could taste the salt okay. Okay. Yeah, the salt was fine. I just needed a little bit more mustard. Fantastic. So now from here, you can do however you want to do. I mean, if you just want to take your spatula and throw it in there like this, then do that. You can do the Ziploc bag trick too. So you just, oh, I'm choking on my egg. Just take your egg, put it in the bag. Cut the corner off the bag. Like that. And then you can squeeze it into your egg like this. Oop. There you go. It's not super fancy, but it does the job. And then if you have a pastry bag with maybe, I use the star tip. I like the star tip. This one is an 18 Wilton tip. I probably should have had this prepared ahead of time, but you know, I didn't. So you can, if you have like one of these bags, and you want to make it really fancy, you can do that. So you put your coupler in. Cut off the tip here. Put your tip on and screw that in. And then it's pretty much the same idea as what we did with the Ziploc bag. You're going to put your egg in here. And squeeze it through the pipe. There you go. And then I do circular motions. You could do whatever. So pipe a little bit and then circle, 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 circle. You can do it that way. Ooh, oh, it's plugged. This is why it's important to have thin egg. There we go. Another thing you could do is even with a larger star tip, if you have it, you could just hold the piping bag like this and just squeeze. Don't even move. Just keep squeezing, 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 fill it up, fill it up, fill it up, and then release your pressure. And then you get like a little design like that. So just put it down, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I probably could have used a larger star tip on that, but that's what it is. But you can use whatever. If you have all those other fancy tips, you can be as fancy as you want, or you could be as whatever as you want, because it's just going to be eaten. And those are your deviled eggs. Okay, so this last snack Superbowl food that I'm going to make is the ham and dill pinwheels. Again, not a lot of ingredients. You missed the part where I scared myself opening this thing. This is the Walmart crescent rolls. Now, the recipe is actually from Pillsbury, and Pillsbury makes crescent sheets. So the store didn't have any, so I just bought the crescent rolls, and I just won't pull them apart. But there's that. You're going to want the chive and onion cream cheese. This is from Philadelphia. I don't know if they have like a generic brand chive and onion cream cheese, but it's that flavor profile. I got the honey ham from Aldi. But you could use whatever deli ham that you like. And then dill pickles. So for the recipe, it's pretty simple. You just need a quarter cup of dill pickles, chopped really small because you're going to be rolling it up. So you want the pieces to be really small. Quarter cup of pickles, quarter cup of ham, half cup of cream cheese. I just spread it. I don't even measure it. I just like scoop it and spread it. And then one roll of this thing. So Now the pickles, you only need like 3 of them. These are small, pretty small pickles. So you don't need like a whole jar or anything like that. I cut up 2 already. And what I do is I cut it in half and then I quarter it. Like that. And then I cut it crosswise. I don't know the actual word. But whatever. I cut it again into little dicey little pieces. Now I cut up the pickles first because while I'm doing everything else, these have to like soak up on the paper towel. You want to dry them off a little bit. Yeah, because otherwise just pickle juice runs all over. And I love pickle juice. And don't hate, this is really good. Dill pickles in chicken ramen. So those ramen packets, cook it up, dump some dill pickle juice and some of this, like the diced pickles. It's good. Don't knock it till you try it. So in that case, you don't want to dry off your pickles. But in this case, you do. I'm going to use 4 pickles here. Now the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup. I use like a heaping 1/4 cup. So just a little bit more than that. I don't think that just a 1/4 cup is enough personally. But again, it's just, like I say in all these videos, it's, it's really to your taste. So halve it, quarter it, and then dice it. Here we go. That's a nice heaping 1/4 cup of pickles. And then dump it on your paper towel and just let that juice soak up. And it'll be dry enough by the time it comes to like actually assembling the roll. You don't need it to be like sitting out here for an hour or anything. There we go. Cool. All right, we're going to do the same with the ham. I think I only need like 1 slice of ham. I forgot how much I used last time, but I took 2 out of the package anyway. But it's the same idea. You're just going to cut it down into like little strips and dice it so that you can easily roll it up on the in the crescent roll. There's probably an easier and faster way of doing this. Like, oh, I could fold it. That's right. Here we go. And then cut it really small. I mean, this is ham. It rolls up better than pickles anyway. So I guess maybe the size doesn't need to be too small. The dog is back. She smells ham. Deli ham has a lot of salt in it, so I don't give her too much, but who's been a good girl today? Here. There you go. There we go. That's good. And you don't need to like dry this off or anything like that. It's fine. It's just basically this is just getting the residual pickle juice off of it. And here we go. And this I'll just eat. Mmm. Okay, so now all you're going to do is just put this stuff together, roll it up, cut it up, bake it. So you take your crescent sheets or your crescent rolls like that, roll it off into one larger sheet. You're not going to pull, if you had to get the crescents, the individual crescent rolls, just don't pull the sheet apart. We're actually going to kind of knead these together. The little slits that they have here for the individual crescents, we're going to put that together. There we go. Pinch, 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 pinch. Again, it doesn't have to be exact or anything. It may come apart when you're rolling it up. Pinch it back together again. There. That'll work. That'll work. My Santa hat keeps falling. I should glue that or something. All right. Now take your cream cheese, whatever spatula you got. Now again, the recipe calls for a half cup of it. Use whatever. You're just going to spread it on there. Make sure you get your edges. People eat the edges too. You're really going to want to layer it on. Now remember, the dough is going to thicken. So if you have the urge, which I usually do, to really thin it out, don't. Really lather it on there because the dough is going to thicken up. And then if you don't have enough cream cheese on there, you're going to taste more dough than cream cheese. Unless that's your taste. Maybe you don't want to really taste the cream cheese. That's okay. You do you. But I like to have a good taste of all the ingredients on here. There we go. Looks beautiful. So now, it really is as simple as just dumping everything on here. I just want to make sure I got, yeah, okay. So take your pickles and your ham and just sprinkle it. Oh. Drop the pickle, Bonnie's on it. Oh, drop another one. You're getting extra treats today, aren't you? Okay. And then just try to, it doesn't have to be like perfectly even, but you want to make sure that people are getting enough bite out of it, right? So we're going to be rolling it this way, lengthwise. So, or just you, if you're partying by yourself, which I usually do. I make this stuff, I make a whole batch of it, freeze portions of it, and eat it as I go. But here, if you're using it for parties, put a little more effort into it. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing with the ham. Just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Try to get the edges and even it out. There's no exact science to it. You just do your best. There we go. There's a little more in this corner here. Okay. Now you're going to take your hands, or if you want to use a rolling pin, you can too, but I just use my hands very lightly, just kind of push down on it. And you're going to want to kind of like sink these into the cream cheese that you just spread. Leave a little bit of room at the top over here, because when we roll it, that's going to kind of glue it together. This cream cheese over here is going to glue the roll together. There we go. Very good. So if you want to cut it in half to make it easier to roll up, you can absolutely do that. Whatever makes it comfortable for you, but I just roll it up like this. So you pick up the bottom and then roll, roll, roll as tight as you can get it. Push down a little bit as you're going to get like that really tight roll, and you want it all to kind of stick together. There we go. And then we're going to glue it using the cream cheese at the top that we kind of left a little space for. Here we go. And then just kind of like roll it back and forth to seal it. There we go. It's nice and sealed. Okay. So from here, you're going to want to cut it into 16 different, 16 rolls, pinwheels. So what I do is I start at the middle, and then I just keep cutting middle, 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 middle until I have 16 pieces. So we're going to start about halfway point here, There's 2 pieces. And I'm using my bread knife. It has a nice serrated edge on it. Some people call it serrated. I don't know if it's serrated or serrated, but whatever. It's got these little edges on it. I find that easier to use for these types of pinwheels. It cuts through nicely. So now we have 4 slices, or 4 pieces, I should say. We're going to cut this again. Now here's our 8. Okay, now we're going to cut this one more time right in half. So we're going to go into the middle of each of these pieces, cut it one more time. And we're going to take each of these guys, if it cuts, and we're going to turn it sideways, flat, and put that on a cookie sheet. Or whatever pan you want to use. Flat, like this. Okay, cutting it up. This is going to puff up pretty quick, pretty nicely, so you're going to want to make sure you leave enough room on here. My football thing in the way. There we go. Just like that. One, two. Oh. Now, there we go. I may have missed one, but that's okay. So then just pop these in the oven for, I forgot. Let me look at my recipe. Oh, sorry. 13 to 16 minutes, basically till they're brown. You know, if they start burning, take them out of the oven. I started it off at 14 minutes and then I just checked from there. So there we go. Those are my snacks for the Super Bowl. We had the Crockpot Kielbasa, little deviled eggs, and the ham and dill pickles. If you want to take a snapshot of this, go for it. So you have kind of the recipes. Let me get out of the way here. Ta-da! And yeah, so I mean, add and remove ingredients as you will to suit your own taste. And I hope you have a good time, even though the Bills aren't in there. Buffalo's rooting for the Eagles, so go Eagles. But yeah, so enjoy your parties or your respective celebrations, and drive safe, no drunk driving, and have a good time. Take care.